cold cases to serial killers, missing persons, and more.
100% he did this.
I'd go off into fantasy world.
How much more lucky can you get that you're not on death row?
You want to know what we know.
My name is Jay. This is Guilty of Crime.
What is up, everybody? Hello. Today is a little bit lighter of a day. And it's funny because I say it's a lighter day, but Chris Watts is a family annihilator. So Watts Wednesday. What's up, y'all? What's going down? Hit the like button. I know we're not doing Madeline Soto today, but I thought I'd give it a little bit of a break. I'm pretty sure I'm behind on the Madeline Soto case. So many things for me to report on, and I'll come back to that tomorrow. So welcome, everybody. I am Jay with Guilty of Crime. If you haven't subscribed to me, please do hit that like button on your way in, on your way out, and all around. Just hit the like button, y'all. Do me a favor. If you haven't subscribed and you're catching my channel, please do. Now, tell me, who likes Deception Detective? I love Deception Detective. So today I'm going to say hello to the crime crew. What's up, Rosie? Thank you for being here. Bree and Patty Mason. Jojo, you're probably out there. If so, say hello. Hit the like button. What's up, Carly? Miss Odin. Crystal. There's Carly. Emma Joy. Yeah, a lot of people do love DD. Jack Stormo, I know you do. And Rosie, of course. Synth Server, what's up? Brenda, thank you guys for being here today. JD Delara, what's going down? Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Today is Watts Wednesday, and it's also September 11th. So most people can remember exactly what they were doing on that day. I know I do. Hi, Mom. Mama's in the house. Mama Pearl's in the house. Say hello. Hi, Mom. I love you, and I hope you had a good day. All right, September 11th, I remember because my mom called me obsessively, and that was back then when we had those brick cell phones and, all that stuff. A little key digit, hello, Wednesday, good to see you. So Mama Pearl called me and was super worried about me on September 11th, 23 years ago. So today is September 11th. Let's remember all those people that were in the 9/11 that their lives got taken in it, and those that served in it. Now, I think Duty Ron may have served or helped in the 9/11. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think so. And all of the people that were there lost their lives and helped. So September 11th, we never forget you. Jojo, you were in 6th grade on September 11th, 23 years ago. Dang, I feel old now. Rosie says I was working for the airline, so I remember I was in a cabin up in South Lake Tahoe, and luckily I took the day off to extend my trip and didn't get, stuck in traffic that day. I was up there hanging out. I saw the news all day, and Caro says hello. The title, Watts Wednesday. God bless all victims of 9/11. Yeah, it is Watts Wednesday today, but I did want to bless the 9/11 victims and everybody else that remembers what they're doing. Want to show my respect for that. It is Watts Wednesday with Deception Detective. We're going to see how to interrogate a psychopath. And don't forget that we're not going to forget about Jennifer Soto. Jennifer Soto, whenever I see that interview of her swaying, doing the Watts sway, we're going to compare that today because we have, after the Deception Detective How to Interrogate a Psychopath, we have some body cam footage that's really good. And also the one on the porch and the one in the house where Chris Watts is lying to the police and swaying. So we're going to still get some arrest Jen Soto in there and some blows because we want her arrested. We can sign the petition together. I'll drop the petition for you in chat. Everybody still sign that hashtag arrest Jen Soto petition. Lori Loves Life says I was at the VA clinic with my husband and several World War II vets. Somber silent, I'll never forget. Yes, we just have to pay respect. Although it is Watts Wednesday, Deception Detective, love him, of course. Synth Server, what's up? Now, remember, when we get likes, for Deception Detective, and we subscribe to his channel. He makes us more videos. So after this, please go show his channel some love. What's up, my man, Adam? Oh, that's what it looks like to me. All right, let's go. Let's pull up some Watts Wednesday material. Again, 9/11 survivors, as well as the people that served. Mad respect to you all. And whatever you guys were doing, you guys made it through 9/11 because you're here with me. I made it too. I was 21 years old, working at some shitty job, and I got fired that day because I called in sick. So go figure. I've only gotten fired twice in my life, and that was one of them. Well, I'm here now, so let's listen to Deception Detective and be blessed that we're here. We made it through.
I've seen lots of comments of people suggesting that Chris was either pushed to commit the murders by Nichol manipulating him, or even by Shanann's needling and belittling him. And my main question was, where do these theories come from?
Where do they come from? I'll tell you where they come from. They come from the videos that we're still looking at. We're still looking at these videos with Shanann. And, you know, I just watched a video about 5 minutes ago. What's up, Jennifer White? Ashley Rogers, what's up? Please hit the like button, y'all. It's not a Madeline Soto day or a Jennifer Soto day or Stephen Stearns, but we're comparing Madeline Soto's mother, Jennifer Soto, to Chris Watts and how he sways. And we will watch that together. And I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. And you'll know what I'm talking about. Watts wuss and Stearns wuss. Yes. All right. So how to interrogate a psychopath. I wonder if Stephen Stearns is a psychopath and if we'll ever get any interrogation footage on him. Let's think about that. All right. So we are going to, we're still wanting justice for Maddie. I just took a break today because I have so much to report on that I'm behind. So Crazy J, I was 21 as well. Remember the day? Me too. Wow. The nerve. They fired you. They sent us home that day for safety. Oh, they fired me. The guilty sway. That's right. All right. We're going to watch that. Let's go. But first, we're going to listen to Dee Dee talk about this. And Shanann, I watched the video today and she was baking something. And she said, I wish Chris Watts was here, or I wish Chris was here to wash the dishes. And she was making a whole pile of dishes while baking. That's why a lot of people felt it was justified, because she kind of punked him on those videos. No victim blaming ever, but I know where people are coming from. All right, let's go. I do know where they're coming from, but, you know, that's a marriage for you.
Because as far as I'm concerned, Chris Watts committed these murders alone, and any manipulation or needling of him was done without the expectation that he would go all out and murder his entire family. All that is to say, I think that Chris originated all these theories about how other people might have contributed to the murders. Ever since I started analyzing Chris Watts and Nichol Kessinger 6 months ago, I've been saying that Chris is a calculating psychopath. And that means that he has no remorse for what he did, and he has no empathy for anyone else. As a result of that, we must be very skeptical whenever he tries to implicate anyone else but himself for the murders. And now, like clockwork, a month after the clip I just played at the intro of this video, Chris is directly blaming Nichol for the murders. How do you get someone like that to tell the truth? I'm Deception Detective, an attorney trained in statement analysis. This channel exposes lies and manipulation. In today's video, we're going to watch an interview he did with the FBI in 2019 to...
And let's remember, he is directly now in 2024 blaming Nichol Kessinger. It came out a while ago, but now it's starting to come out with his cellmate that has written a book. He is now writing in the book that he's directly blaming Nichol Kessinger. I wonder if anything's ever going to come about that. She's never been arrested for anything, so there's no double jeopardy situation. She was not even interrogated. She was questioned, and she was questioned lightly, which we've broken down here quite a bit. So Malibu Surfs Up says, Watts, you got to hold a mirror under his nose to see if he's living. So flatline. Yeah, and I thought he was dumb too, but he's not that dumb. His IQ is apparently really high. What's up, Mary Juarez? Thank you. And absolutely. Good to see ya. Savage Barbie. We have merch, and I am going to make new merch soon. When I say new merch, I mean a new design. I will get to that soon, maybe this week. Chris, what's up? I love you guys. Slow learner. He's a slow talker, very gently questioned, right? But her dad was in the room too. Nichol Kessinger's dad was in the room and got her out of quite a bit. All right, let's look at this psycho and how to interrogate him.
Look at the techniques that they use to manipulate manipulators. This is my 4th video analyzing this interview, and in this part of the interview, the interviewers are going to shift into interrogation mode. I've watched the first few minutes of this, so I'll point out where that shift occurs so you can also spot it, and then I'll point out the techniques that they use as they arise. Before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to Watch the Obsession. Without further ado, let's listen.
Yes.
Are you crying? Is he crying?
Or it's like, she's got no mascara. She didn't.
All right, I'm gonna actually slow it down when he talks because he talks really low and kind of so I also Wednesday Ophelia, I saw your message and I'd love to go on a Thrive side thing. So send me an email if you would. Please do that. Send me an email and let's talk about throwing something on Wednesday with the Thrive dive. All right. Hi, everyone. I look forward to these. Awesome. Thank you, Laura. Hit the like button and thank you for being here.
Wash her face when she got home. She had makeup on still, so mascara running all over her and stuff like that. Yeah, it was nothing about that conference. I just wish I could take all of that. Just the whole naked thing back, everything. But
so then when did it turn?
as far as that conversation, this is at the end when I was telling her, like, I told her I didn't love her anymore. That's when it happened.
He told her he didn't love her anymore.
She told me to get off her, and then I put my hand on it. Okay.
Did you say she said something like you were hurting the baby or something?
So that was before that. Because, like, when I was straddling her, it was kind of like around her waist type deal.
Why did you get on her like that?
I just, when we got on the bed, so that's just where I got on.
Is that so she would listen to you?
I felt like she could probably listen to me just laying beside her, but I got on top of her. And every time I think about it, I'm just like, did I know I was going to do that before I got on top of her?
Really? That's an interesting thought, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if you do.
If you've seen the first 3 installments of this series, you'll know that we're about an hour into the interview. We're an hour and 1 minute in. And so far, the interviewers have been keying in on 2 main questions. Did Chris have an accomplice in the murders? And were the murders premeditated? The 3 detectives who are interviewing him, FBI's Graham Coder, Colorado Bureau of Investigation's Tammy Lee, and Frederick Police Department's Detective Dave Baumhover, have been asking those same questions in different ways over the past hour. And in my earlier videos in this series, we've cataloged all the ways that Chris has evaded giving direct answers to those questions, whether it's by going off on tangents, or being vague, or hedging what he says with uncertainty expressions like I suppose, or weakening modifiers, or skipping over the details altogether, or doing a very common evasion tactic of saying what didn't happen instead of what did happen. All of these are cards in my deception deck. Obviously, the interrogators have picked up on this. And now that they've picked up that he's being deceptive, they're going to shift into interrogation mode. So when I hit play, pay attention to how their questions change, and then we'll get in.
And you guys, while we're watching this, do me a favor. We've watched so many videos together. We've covered so many Jen Soto, Stefan Stearns. Jen Soto's the most one that we get to hear talk. Stefan Stearns we get to read. But pay attention to this because I am going to ask you guys to bring your minds together with me and see what you guys can see about how he's being interrogated, how Jen Soto, I don't know if I'd call that interrogation more than questioning, but let's just see what you guys think about that and what you can see in Jen Soto and her psychopathic tendencies, I would say. I don't know what I would call her. I don't know how we would label her. Maybe I'll rely on Deception Detective for that because he is going to cover her next interview very soon and I'm going to bring it to you. So try to think of that as we're, no, I meant Nichol Kessinger, but I'm still talking about Jennifer Soto and correlating the 2. Yeah, this is fascinating info and it does correlate between Jen Soto and how she lies and her sway and Chris Watts' sway. So let's try to remember that. 4 to adore. 4 to adore. Join the super chat train and support our girl Jay. Thank you so much. $2 super chat. Thank you. It all helps, guys. ladies, people, it does help. Even though I'm not doing Maddie today, yeah, I still always could use the gifting memberships and the $2 super chat. So thank you. All right, pay attention. Pay attention now.
Into how you can use the techniques that they're about to use in your own life to get manipulative people to admit the truth.
Just like the whole everything that happened that morning, I don't know, like I try to go back in my head. I'm just like, I didn't want to do this, but I did it. It's everything just kind of like,
Felt like you had to?
it just felt like it was, I don't even want to say it felt like it had to. It just felt like there was already something in my mind that was implanted that I was going to do it. And then I woke up that morning, it was going to happen, and I had no control of it.
You never thought about it before?
It was just like, I don't want, like when, like just like in the sentencing hearing, that prosecutor said it takes 2 to 4 minutes, something like that to happen. Like, why can't I just let go?
And remember that, folks, when we talk about strangulation, and I'm going to go back and forth because we've been covering Maddie for a long time, and Maddie was strangled. He just said it takes 2 to 4 minutes to strangle someone. That is what happened to Maddie. It was strangulation. It wasn't asphyxiation. It was strangulation. 2 to 4 minutes. Someone has to sit there and actually choke you and not stop. Okay. So yeah, he does just have a lot of excuses, but the correlation between the two cases for me is strong. All right.
Well, I didn't actually. I just like,
Was it feeling like it was in motion and you just couldn't stop it?
yeah, it was just like, I don't even want to know what she saw when she looked back at me, honestly.
Did you look at her? What was she doing?
But hiding.
Why do you think she wasn't fighting?
You know, maybe she was praying. Maybe she was just. Now I read the Bible. It said, the scripture says, don't forgive these people for they do not know what they do. Mm-hmm. Maybe she was saying that. I don't know what she was saying in her head, but she, like when you guys told me, like, take off your shirt and check for defensive wounds, and there wasn't going to be any. She didn't fighting. I don't know why.
So she didn't grab. Could she grab your arms, or were her arms pinned down, or?
I don't think so. Yeah.
It's rare to get a confession like this as well, folks, especially someone that annihilates their whole family. He had to have done that to his children as well. I believe that he either smothered or strangled them. We won't ever really know because they were put into oil tanks. Yeah, she might have been asleep, Marilyn McRae. She might have been asleep. I don't know. I don't know if his story is true or not, or partially true. But yeah, what it takes to strangle someone is 2 to 4 minutes and a lot of hate.
I don't think like I moved toward my knees or around her arms or anything. It's just kind of like when I got on top of her, we started talking. That was it. It's kind of like in my head, or like in the back of my head, that was going to happen. And just like at the end of the conversation, it's just like, that's what happened. I just wish I could have let go.
Did it seem like it was that long? 2 to 4 minutes?
2 to 4 minutes.
How long did it seem for you?
2 to
It
4.
kind of felt like it was longer almost, because it felt like time was standing still. It's kind of like I just saw my life just disappearing before my eyes.
And remember, we speculate that Nichol Kessinger and Chris Watts had a conversation at that Lazy Dog when they went to have dinner, and she was pushing him to leave Shanann. At the end of the month, I want you to get an apartment. I want you to move out, and you got to do this and you got to do that. So, I mean, he's the one that's a weak dude. That's just a coward. But he's the one that still did the smothering, in my opinion. I don't think Nichol Kessinger did that physically, but I think she had something to do with the with talking him into it, so to speak. What's up, Olgo Kato and Jack Stormo? Thank you so much for supporting the train of the crime crew. The more you support, the more I can be here. So thank you. And I'm still going to be here, but I got to do other stuff. So thank you so much. Yeah, he held her arms down. She had no scratches. She didn't fight back. He was a lot heavier than her, and she was pregnant. But yes, NK is suspicious, and Chris is the psychopath, and that's who we're interrogating.
But just like I couldn't let go. It was like somebody else, like if you picture somebody else around you, holding your hands, holding you, keep you from not letting you go.
Thank you, sweetie. He sounds
At some
like
point, there was a statement.
Chris said that it felt like someone else was forcing him to kill Shanette. And so
Nicole.
even psychologically, he's trying to pass the blame somewhere else besides himself. He also said something along the lines of, I knew this was going to happen, which might suggest premeditation. And the detectives picked up on this. That's why I think there was that moment of silence. Earlier in this interview, there weren't so many long pauses. There was lots of back and forth, and they would let him go off on tangents because they were in the elicitation stage of the interview. And this is something I've written about over in the DD forum. A typical interview follows 3 stages. We have the open statement where you're not guiding the speaker. You want them to pick all their own words and do as much talking as they can so that they reveal what's important to them. Then you move into the interview stage. And this is where you gather.
All right. Keep note of that because number one is we want them to talk as much as they can. They're doing that with Jennifer Soto as well. They're not stupid. And ladies that have a crush on Deception Detective, I don't see a ring on his finger. Just saying. Crazy people tend to feel possessed. Yeah, they do say that. I do think Nichol Kessinger was in the back of his mind while he was doing it, though. I really, truly do. I think there might have been an ultimatum, and it's starting to come out a little bit more. The biggest cowards in jail prison will hide behind religion, right? A lot of people do, even in the real world, unfortunately. Scary Sherry, what's up? Good to see you. I think he didn't want to pay child support. Plus, imagine how look to people leaving a mother of 3 and 1 on the way, right? Mother of 2, 1 on the way, right? I don't have a ring either. You don't say. Well, go get him.
Either missing information, ask follow-up questions, and assess their reliability. Do you feel like they're telling you the truth, or are they lying to you? And if you determine that they're being deceptive, that's when you shift into interrogation mode, where you get a little bit more accusatory. You start using leading questions, and you start using silence. Instead of a back and forth rapport, you start pausing to let the speaker know that they should continue talking without actually asking them to talk. And I'll dive deeper into this as we go. But for now, listen to where the detectives don't come to Chris's rescue when he stops talking. Listen to where they start pausing and using silence to try to keep him talking.
I couldn't let go. It was like somebody else, like if you picture somebody else around you, holding your hands, holding you, keep you from not letting you go.
2 to 4 minutes, folks. Silence.
At some point, there was a statement about rage. Do you feel like you're in a rage at that point?
That's the only way I can describe it, honestly. Like a snap. I know. I guess my attorney had said like some, strangulation. It's more of like a, I don't know, passionate type thing. I'm just like, no, how that could be passionate.
It's just intimate because you're right in there.
Yeah.
Using your own hands.
He also tried to OD her, folks, when he went to that family trip. I can't remember what state it was right now, but when he went to visit the family, he gave her, I don't know if it was oxy or some kind of opioid to try to end the life of the baby, not her, but the baby. So just keep that in mind. And I believe he did that twice. Yeah. And you're right. The same vocal cadence as Stearns. Shaky, feel sorry for me. And Jen gets like that at certain points too. So yeah, this is very, comparable to go back and forth between the interviews and we're looking at how to interrogate a psychopath. Stephen Stearns.
It's a lot different than someone standing across the room and you shooting them or something like that. So
I just felt like somebody was like behind me, just like I just couldn't let go.
It's interesting to me because there was a lot of things in your life that were like that, right?
Lots of the comments in my videos ask, well, DD, why would Chris lie in this interview about whether or not the murders were premeditated? Since in 2019, at the time this interview is being done, he's already been convicted and he's already been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. And I actually addressed this in an earlier video. He could be lying because he sincerely blacked out and something was guiding his hands and he's making up parts to be cooperative with the police. Or the murder was
And as he says that, he's got Nichol Kessinger up on the screen. Well, and himself. He's got 2 DDs. So, ladies, there's 2 DDs. Yeah, sweetie, don't forget to hit that like button, y'all. Thank you for hanging out here with me today on 9/11. I love you guys. I appreciate your support so much. You have no idea. All right.
Was premeditated homicide 1, and he wants to portray it as if it were a crime of passion, or because he's protecting Nichol Kessinger, or any other number of reasons. But so far, what we can say for sure is that he's extremely sensitive about it. In other words, I can't say exactly why he's lying. People lie for a bunch of different reasons. He might even just be so delusional that he thinks, hey, if I can convince the world that this was a crime of passion and not a premeditated murder, maybe I'll get pardoned by the governor or the president. Although if I were to bet on it, I would say it's a case of vanity. He wants to be seen as someone who killed in the heat of passion rather than a cold-blooded killer. And I think that's why Chris brought up the word passion here, even though he's acting like he doesn't know what passion means in the context of a homicide. There's a huge legal distinction between murder 1, premeditated murder, and murder 2, such as a crime of passion. I think the detectives picked up on this, and that's why they're reacting the way they are.
I just want to ask you, Wednesday, Ophelia, how do you know about the street value of Oxy? Just saying. Just kidding. I love you. Chris takes no responsibility. Absolutely. So I'm really surprised that he didn't already implicate Nichol Kessinger years ago. I don't really know if it would make a difference now, but since she never got charged for anything. Does anyone know what happened to NK? I'm glad that you asked. Is she married, etc.? No, I don't think that she's married. And Watts the Obsession has a friend that is actually looking for Nichol Kessinger and thinks that she's moved to Seattle or somewhere in Washington. So people are actually still looking for NK and coming out with new books and new theories. And they really do want to find her and bring this information out. I do believe she changed her name. I don't know if she changed her first name, but she did change her name. So, oh, you said problem. I think costs more now. Yeah, I think so. And yeah, I was just teasing you, but I thought it was funny. I started trying to think of the street value too. And I was like, well, it's about $40 a pill. So yeah, that's about right. All right. What's up, Simon K? Yeah, Nichol Kessinger is running and changing her name, and didn't NK place some crystals under the girl's bed? Which I don't know about that. Maybe. I bet Watts the Obsession would know.
Strangulation is more of like a, I don't know, passionate type thing. I'm just like, I like to be passionate.
It's just intimate because you're right. And
Yeah.
using your own hands. It's a lot different than someone standing across the room and you shooting them or something like that. So
I just felt like somebody was like behind me, just like, I just couldn't let go.
It's interesting to me because there was a lot of things in your life that were like that, right? Where you're just like, maybe felt out of control, or maybe felt like, I don't know why I couldn't take a step back, or, like even when you said, when your buddy was like sort of the football game, you wanted to say yes, you just couldn't.
Yeah, I wanted to. Like, I've never been in a football game since North Carolina, so I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I wanted to say that.
Yeah.
I wanted to just text it. Hey, no, I guess it fell through. Can't go.
So then what?
Just,
Yes. Hit the like button, y'all, while he's pausing.
after shenanigans, because once she was gone, it was just like I didn't know what was going on. It's like it was like a traumatic, I don't know what you call it, traumatic event type and everything, and like I was shaking. I didn't know what had happened.
He didn't know what happened. Randy B, thank you so much for the $2.99 super sticker. I do love doing Watts Wednesdays because I learned so much. And the next time, probably tomorrow, that we cover the Madeline Soto / Jennifer Soto information, which there is more to cover. I will be using that to help me along in these interrogations and in the things that we catch from her. So it's like a learning day today. And a little bit of break because Maddie's case is hard. It's hard for me to cover all the time. I have a daughter that's 9, almost 10, and it just hits so close to home, y'all. But family annihilators really do intrigue me, and learning about them helps everybody that's in the true crime community to understand crimes of passion and, just a crime of this magnitude?
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I'd done. I still wasn't in that right state of mind. I don't think like I was in control of what I could think or what I could do at that point in time.
Passion, shock, state of mind. For someone who doesn't know what passion means in the legal sense, Chris does use a lot of legal buzzwords. I think he's fishing for the interrogators to tell him that what he did might have been a crime of passion, the same way people fish for compliments by dropping subtle hints about what they want you to compliment them about. And you'll notice that the interrogators are not doing what you might expect them to do if all you know about interrogation comes from the movies. They're not shouting at him and saying, you know, you planned this, or accusing him of lying, or threatening to impose extra penalties on him if he doesn't tell them the truth. They are going along with him. Well, yeah, that seems to be the case, that you really didn't have much control of your life. Other people really were controlling you. You didn't shoot her from across the room. It was up close and personal. You strangled her, just like a crime of passion. And what are they doing?
He wants a crime of passion because you guys know that's a lesser charge. Now, I don't believe there was a death penalty in the case of Watts. However, I do want you guys to know the reason we keep talking about this case is because we don't feel like there's a resolve, like an absolute resolution to this case, because Nichol Kessinger didn't get anything and we didn't go to trial, so we didn't get to hear any of the information, no autopsy reports, nothing. He just went, took a plea deal, and then done. So I believe that's why the true crime community just keeps this going. I mean, Watts the Obsession is a whole channel that talks about Chris Watts all the time, which goes to show you, and she's one of many.
When they do this, are they actually falling for what he's saying? No. What they're doing is they're making him feel in control of the conversation, so that he's more likely to open up. And this is something else I've written about over on the DD forum in the patron section, when I was preparing to interview Chris and Katie Proudfoot for my Sebastian Rogers series. The idea is to make the person you're interrogating feel comfortable enough to admit the truth to you. So if they can help Chris feel like what he did had a rationale to it, and that they don't blame him for it, or that it was someone else's fault besides his own, even if it was just those phantom hands controlling him and pushing him to do it, or reassuring them that society won't blame them even if they open up, they are more likely to eventually admit the truth. So far in the Chris.
Thank you, Rabbit. I appreciate you. I came to say hello to the eyebrows. They're so good. Well, I'd love to see yours. I want to see the comparison to thank you. And do you notice I have a slash in one of my eyebrows there? Other side. Thank you, guys. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Thanks for stopping. Don't forget to hit that like button. Today is a chill day, even though it's Family Annihilator, and we're talking about interrogating a psycho. So it's still not so close to home like Maddie is. Oh my God. Tomorrow I have stuff to report. I definitely have stuff to report. I have reports that I haven't read, but also one of the advocates, and I do need to reach out to Jenny about Tyler. One of the advocates sent me the current state of the Madeline Soto memorial, and I do want to share that with you guys. And Scary Sherry always comes through. Half the cash this time, but double the love. Mwah. Love you. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Yes, MM, I love you. Skanky Empanada is what Watts the Obsession channel calls Nichol Kessinger. So let's get on that train, y'all.
This Watts case, it's unclear exactly how he murdered his daughters. Even the exact cause of death for Shanann, I think, is still in dispute. And that's because the bodies were so decomposed by the time they were recovered. Counterintuitive as it may seem, playing dumb and going along with what Chris says is the correct interrogation technique. And you'll also notice how they use silence to prod him to continue talking without making it look like they're in control by asking him a question and eliciting a response. Instead, they sit there quietly when he's discussing things they want him to talk about so that he feels like he's in control and he just continues orating. That's the power of silence. Although they are using some other small prompts, and I've written about a few of them in the deception deck. So once we see some more of those, I'll point that out, probably the next time we pause.
And most people say, like, well, I just called 911. I'm just like, unless you're in that situation, you don't know. We don't know what we would have done. It's easy to play Monday morning quarterback.
I agree with that.
Like I said, if somebody shoots somebody, you don't know what they're going through their mind at one time. You don't know what you'd have done.
So what happened next?
Ability minimum.
So what happened, Bill Neiman? What she said?
Oh, fine.
Did she hear something? Is that what she said?
Absolutely, I think.
Okay. What did you tell her?
Money don't feel good.
And then, did that happen with Bella right in that room?
Not proper.
What happened?
She walked in. That's what you talking about. She was sleeping.
Did you take her back to her room?
Put Sharon in that sheet and found sleep.
Okay. Then what?
Carried her downstairs.
I've actually listened to this part of the interview before, and it's hard to listen to because Chris is about to discuss what happened to his daughters.
So before we get into that, there is some new audio that we've never heard before of Jennifer Soto / Stephen Stearns. And I will be getting into that tomorrow. So do me a favor, y'all, hit that like button today and definitely come back tomorrow and the rest of the week. I have so much more to report on that, but I figured I'd give it a little bit of a break today. And also I get to chat with y'all. Chat's not flying by where I can't see you all and I can actually have a conversation and post your stuff up. So you guys are the real day one crime crew. I appreciate that. All right, let's keep going. My daughter just brought me my phone. I left it out in the living room.
You'll already notice how reticent he's become. He was much more open about talking about Shanann than he is about the daughters. And I'm going to go over why I think that is, and it ties back to everything else we said in this video. But because Chris is becoming more reticent and more closed off, the silence isn't working. When the detectives are silent, Chris simply stops talking. So what they're doing now is using different prods to get him to continue. And other prods you can use besides silence are closed questions that advance the story, like, then what? What happened next? If someone says something, okay, then what did you say? Or did they say anything else? These questions do not alert the subject that you're actually in control. You're simply being curious, and you're advancing them down the track of what you want them to talk about. Sort of like a train on a track. The interrogators want to keep Chris, who's the train, moving down the track.
And Dee Dee is correct. That's one of his favorite words in the entire deck and probably in the human English language is reticence. Now, you guys probably know what that means, but liars tend to keep fabricated parts of their stories short to minimize the risk of making mistakes. If the climax of a story, particular one involving fantastic events, is surprisingly brief, it may be a sign that it's fabricated or scripted. Jennifer Soto. We're going to use all of this in tomorrow's interview that we're going to do that none of you all have heard before. You might go find it tonight, and then tomorrow you'll be able to come back and talk with me. What's up? Precaucent. Am I saying this right? All right. Only 6 people haven't hit the like button, y'all, and we only have 130 likes in the chat, so hit that like button. My favorite dinner prep crew. What are you cooking, Bren? All right.
To a broken bridge that it will eventually fall off if they can keep it on the track long enough. But if they start giving Chris, the conductor, too many directions, he might look up and notice that there's a bridge, go off track, and they need to put him back on. Let me know in the comments if that analogy works for you. You'll also notice that they're using one-word prompts to keep him talking, like, yeah. And that's typical and happens naturally. And in the deception deck, I have 2 cards, one for uncooperative subjects, one for cooperative subjects. And at this point, Chris is cooperative. So there are certain words that they're using to get him to expand on his story. And so you can pick them up as we go along and know what to do. If you want to use these in your own life, I'll just read you the card. Liars often set their own traps, Aesop. When eliciting statements, maintaining engagement with cooperative subjects is crucial. Liars tend to be more open when they believe they're controlling the conversation. To subtly guide the dialogue and extract more information, use these prompt words. Use so to encourage detailed responses. Use and to prompt additional lateral information. Use meaning to gain clarity on the context. And say now to delve into other actions and thoughts of particular moments. Practicing using these words can help you guide a conversation without alerting the other person that you are in control.
Back my truck up.
At that point, were the girls still there? Okay.
Precocent. You know I always want to say your name's right, y'all. Precocent. Rolled a double, and someone's making potatoes. Potatoes. I hope they're not rotten potatoes. I'm sure they're not. I'm sure they're going to be really good. Sunshine, I loved watching him sweat too. Ooh, I don't know what y'all are talking about, but Precosent says fried chicken sounds really so good. I'm hungry and navigating the after school shuffle and LA traffic. I didn't know you were in LA. What's up? Thank you, JoJo, for gifting one Guilty of Crime membership. I hope you guys all, whoever wants one, gets it. And Graciela Gonzalez, thank you for coming here today. I love you, and I sent you an email just a while ago. Thank you. Thanks for supporting the channel. All right.
So then she lands in the truck. Then went back to the house.
We got everybody out in the truck.
Was Bella first or was Cece first?
In the truck.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So Shanann was first, and then Bella was next. Was Bella alive when you guys got in the truck? Oh, okay. What happened?
They weren't
back
alive?
up. Okay. And so this, I don't really want to talk about this party, honestly.
What?
Those are my kids. It's what baby I'm just talking about every night. It helps, you know. Okay.
Do me a favor, Jessica Rilera. First time watching, please do subscribe. Hit the like button, and I promise you won't be disappointed. Today, we're doing Watts Wednesday, how to interrogate a psycho. And today is one of those days where chat's not flying crazy fast. So I can say hi to you. Thank you for coming and checking out my channel. Welcome. Don't forget to subscribe so you can get the notifications. Tomorrow, we're going to have new audio, never before heard, of Jen Soto.
Every time I see pictures of no house. Being a dad was the best part of my life. I took it all away.
I think that's the hardest part for us, Chris, is we see those videos, we see that love that you had for your girls. Like, it's obvious to us. And even to us, it's hard for us to understand how a dad who's given piggyback rides and, you know, making snacks and watching princess movies and those kinds of things, how you get to that point, you know?
Like I said, it was just like something else was controlling me that day. I had no control over what I was like to fight back.
Yeah.
Like when that prosecutor said that Bella bit her tongue, like repeatedly, I just wanted to bang my head against the wall.
Coward.
So you put Shanann in the truck and then you put the two girls in the truck? Were they just sitting in their car seats, or I guess they didn't probably have car seats in your truck, did they?
So sitting in the back with the, like in that bench,
So Shanann was back there too?
she's on the floor.
What did they say about Shanann being on the floor?
Mommy, okay.
What'd you tell them?
She'll be fine.
Did you have their stuff with them, with their toys and their blankets and stuff?
They had something with them that they carried. One of them, I think CC and Bella had like a blanket or something with them, like a pink blanket. Or
what about the dog? I think one of them had a dog, right? The talked or dog.
Yeah, one of them had like a little barking dog.
Was that with you too? Do you know?
I think it was. Trying to hard to remember. Like, yeah, had like big blanket, small blanket.
So, I think I saw on the video that you put a gas can or something in the back of your truck. Was that right? Did you have different plans? Where did you put that in there?
I don't know what was going through my head. I felt like maybe I could just get rid of myself at the same time.
Now it should all be coming together for you. The pauses, if the silence doesn't work, a prompt word, and if that doesn't work, a closed-ended question to move the story along. And always the focus is on premeditation. Even when Tammy...
Yeah, this is great. This is really good to absorb this. For me, it is, as a host of the channel and breaking down interrogations and investigations. So, yeah, we're going to do that tomorrow. I don't have that today yet, but I will by tomorrow. And just keep this on your mind. We're going to watch the Chris Watts sway / Jennifer Soto sway. So we're still over here signing the petition, and we're still loving on Maddie, and we want complete and utter justice. So thank you guys for being here. You could be anywhere else, but you chose to be here. I appreciate it.
Lee brings up the gas can. She asks about what his plans were. Did he have different plans? Did something change? But the reason I'm pausing here is to point out why I think Chris became so reticent about his daughters. He was relatively detailed when he discussed Shanann compared to the girls. For example, he hasn't told us how they died, and he hasn't even confirmed, actually, if you go back and listen to what he's actually said, whether they were dead or alive when they got into the car. And I think the reason is he either knows or he's starting to realize as he's talking how absurd it would be for him to try to claim that the murder of the girls was a crime of passion. Him getting into a fight with Shanann and two adults arguing and pushing each other's buttons could lead to someone snapping and killing the other person. It's plausible, and it definitely does happen. However, toddlers like Bella and Cece, they don't shout back to their dad, and they don't push buttons to make someone snap.
No, they do not. They're babies, and I don't understand it. I do want to bring up Scott Peterson. Scott Peterson, it reminds me of this case, although he didn't have a family to annihilate. I believe he's the one that took Lacey Peterson's life and baby Nico that was on his way. Let me know what you think. I plan to continue covering that case. He may get a new trial, Scott Peterson. So if any of you guys are interested in that, let me know, because this reminds me a lot of the Scott Peterson and Chris Watts remind me they're in the same category. All right. And that was in my state. It's in California, in Modesto, and I'm about 2 hours away from that.
So the claim that he might have killed them in the heat of passion when he was seeing red doesn't stick. I think even he realizes that. And I think he's known that, which is why I've seen so many comments of people telling me that in the early versions of events, he said that Shanann killed the girls initially, and then he killed Shanann in response. And I think that's why he's not talking about how the daughters were killed. Do I think he loaded them into the van alive? Of course not.
I think I saw on the video that you put a gas can or something in the back of your truck. Was that right? Did you have different plans? Where'd you put that in there?
I don't know what going through my head.
Yep.
I felt like maybe I could just get rid of myself at the same time if I was doing all this, honestly.
Yeah.
You should think about that.
Scary Sherry, you're right. You know, I can't understand this family annihilation thing at all. I think that's why I keep coming back to the Watts case and any family annihilators, which I have a playlist on, because I cannot see taking your children's life. Now I see many people going to prison for taking their wife or their husband, and I can see that, like, people getting hatred over the years or whatever, but I cannot see stopping and doing that, and then especially smothering or choking. I can't see doing that to my children. I have 2 of them, and I can't. Now my wife, on the other hand, let's not tell her, but once in a while I feel like I can strangle her. Not really.
What'd you think about that?
I didn't feel like I deserved to live after what happened.
Was there any thought to the whole family going away that day to include you?
After everything happened, that's a definite thought.
Yeah.
Now remember, he put them in the oil tanks, the girls' bodies, and it was only an 8-inch in diameter hatch. So if you take 8 inches and go like this, they measured the girls shoulder to shoulder, and they were not 8 inches. It was over 8 inches. So he must have used his boots to push them down or whatever he could. And it's sad. It really is. It's sad. The first responders were, I think they still are traumatized. Yeah, Mom, he's a monster. I think I almost married one again. Oh no. Well, I'm glad you didn't, Mom. I love you.
See, it's interesting to me. We had all kind of wondered if there was a point when you were all together, if you were all going to pass together. That to me makes sense, because that's, even though it sounds crazy, that's what a family man does, right?
Family man doesn't do what he did.
No, I know. I guess what I mean is, it seems like you guys were going to be together forever in that way. Is that maybe what's going through your head?
Honestly, I just felt like I had to live.
Yeah.
The train has come off the tracks, right? Chris is no longer being cooperative ever since it became about the girls. So what do the agents do? They try to put the train back on the track, and they're also pursuing other theories, right? They're trying to get him to open up about whether or not he had plans. And one of the plans
Good to see you, Wanda Villanova. Hello. Don't forget to hit that like button, y'all. And precosent, I can see a family annihilation and self-ending for someone who is saving everyone. These complete narcissists who think they're going to get away with a new life is absolute evil. And they have to have some delusions in there because there's no way you're going to get away with that. And if you can live with yourself, then you are a psychopath, a narcissist, evil. I agree, JD Delora.
And I think it's Agent Coder suggests is if Chris ever considered a mass suicide. No matter what the plan is, any plan at all would be a good sign of premeditation. And how does Agent Coder present this, what is actually a very insane idea? He presents it as if it's the most casual thing ever. He does all the things I said you need to do when you're trying to get someone to open up. He rationalizes it. Well, you were all going to die, might as well do it together. He shifts a little bit of the blame. He minimizes it, right?
No, I think it's evil mixed with being a psychopath and a narcissist. It is evil, but there are also variations of the evil. There are some people that are evil that aren't narcissists. But I believe that this guy and Scott Peterson are both narcissists. If you watch their interviews and how they think of themselves and et cetera, I do believe that. But yes, you're right. And I'm not saying it's a narcissist versus being evil or one or the other. It's all of them and a psychopath.
Right? That's what a family man does. A family man makes sure that the whole family is together for eternity. He socializes it. I think he said at one point, I understand. It might sound crazy, but I get it. This is all excellent interrogation technique. And the main takeaway from this video is that if you really want to get information out of someone, you have to make them feel comfortable. Because if you start shouting or losing your cool or making threats, people don't open up and they tend to clam up and shut down. The other thing to recognize about interrogation is that it's not about showing off how smart you are or how tough you are. It's all about the subject. And if your goal is to get to the truth, you might have to play dumb. You might have to pretend you know things that you don't. You might have to pretend that you think something's great that you know is despicable. And I think you can see this starkly in the recent congressional hearings. Some people are focused on pandering to their audience. Others are focused on getting sound bites for the headlines. And a couple are actually asking questions in the pursuit of truth. If you want to learn what not to do when interviewing someone, click the video on your screen now. If you want to continue this series, let's get this video to 50,000 views. You can also become a channel member and vote on who we.
And don't forget to go to DD's channel, subscribe to him, hit the like button on these, y'all, so he can keep covering, especially Jennifer Soto and Stephen Stearns. He's done 2 interviews on both of them, and I'm anxiously, patiently awaiting the next one Wednesday. I agree with you 110%. That's what I meant to say when I was saying that I don't believe, obviously, all narcissists are evil. And yeah, thank you for including some mental health awareness. Absolutely not. I don't think that. All right. So luckily no one escapes their karma. Let's take a look at the Chris Watts / Jen Soto sway, because every time I watch the Jen Soto interview, which has been many times, I say that I compare her to the Chris Watts sway, but I've never showed the video and then said that I've never showed it and said, hey, this is Jennifer Soto. Now compare it to and pull from your memory what she looks like. And I just kind of say that, and I don't even know if half the people realize what I'm talking about. So now we're going to look at it. Miss Odin, that is Deception Detective. And I love him. He supports my channel. We collaborate. We've got so many collaborations. So please do hit that like button for him and subscribe to him. Wednesday, Ophelia, you're all good. You're good. I love knowledge. Knowledge is power. Absolutely. All right, let's see the Chris Watts / Jen Soto sway as he does an interview for the television on his porch, and he does that same anxious sway.
Chris Watts, WATTS.
What's going on right now around your house?
And right now, you got K9 units, the sheriff's department. Everybody's like they're.
Hold on, and now when they talk about K9 units, Jen Soto, they talked about a K9 unit and dogs sniffing out her daughter, which usually means a body, and no reaction, just like this guy.
They're doing their best right now to figure out like if they can get a scent, see where they went. If they went on foot, they went in a car, they went somewhere. And right now it's just like they've been on point. They're going through the house trying to get a scent, and hopefully they can pick something up to where it's going to lead to something.
What happened?
Yep.
Your wife came home. Tell me what's.
She came home from the airport 2 a.m. and I left around 5:15. She was still here, and like about 12:10 in that afternoon, her friend Nichol showed up at the door. Like,
also oddly mentioned times, very specific. Jen did that as well. 10:18, 11:35, like really specific times. And then other times where she didn't know at all. He's doing this as well.
I had texted Shanann a few times that day, called her, say, but she never got back to me, but she wasn't getting back to any of her people as well. And that's what really concerned a lot of people, is like, she's not getting back to her. Like, if she doesn't get back to me, that's fine. Like, she gets busy during the day, but she didn't get back to her people, which was very concerning. And Nichol called me when she was at the door, and that's when I came home. And then walked in the house, and nothing was vanished. Nothing was here. I mean, she wasn't here. The kids weren't here. Nobody was here.
What's your wife's name?
Shanann, Shanann.
What's your kids?
Bella and Celeste.
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 How old are your daughter?
Now they have to ask him to say his daughter's name. He's not out there reaching and saying, please bring my daughter Cece and Celeste back and my wife Shanann. He's not doing any of that. So yeah, look at those dead eyes. Melissa Johnson, Vu's remains. We don't know if Elijah Vu's remains have been found. They have not been identified. Therefore, I don't want to spread any kind of rumors about his remains being found until they're identified. It could be another child. I hope not. But I really do hope they bring Elijah Vu home soon. And what's up, the classic one? I am wearing the Elijah Vu wristband, and I'm wearing it until he's found. So hopefully he's found soon so I could put another band on. But I am seeing this case all the way through. Let's look at Chris Watts' dead eyes and see how he lies and compare.
4, Bella's 4, Celeste is 3.
And so, how many times did you try calling her?
I called her 3 times, texted her about 3 times just to say, what's going on. Like, because after I called her and texted her once, it's like maybe she was just busy. Like, she'd just gotten back. Like everybody's probably calling her from her trip. She just got back from Arizona, and I figured she was just busy. But when her friend showed up, that's what it was like. It registered. Like, all right, this isn't right.
Yeah, you're going to get in trouble. That's what happened.
I think she just took off. Do you think?
I mean, right now, I don't even want to just like throw anything out there. Like, I hope that she's somewhere safe. Right.
And we know now that he took all their lives, but look at his smugness. Look at how he smiles. Look at how he talks. Same thing. Jen Soto. It goes across the board for many of these. I want to call them murder.
Right now, and with the kids.
Yes.
But I mean, could she just taken off? I don't know. But if somebody has her and they're not safe, like, I want them back now. Like that's what's in my head. Like, if they're safe right now, they're gonna come back. But if they're not safe right now, that's the not knowing part. Like, if they're not safe, last night I had every light in the house on. I was hoping that I would just ran over by the kids running in the door and just like barrel rushing me, but it didn't happen. And it was just a traumatic night trying to be here.
He doesn't look like it's traumatic. That's another thing that many people do, is they'll tell you how they feel, but it doesn't match what they're saying at all. He was terrified. He was, he misses him. He sure doesn't look like that. It does look like Duper's Delight, though. Needs strength. Granddaughter just yelled at me, oh no, and said we have no food. What are you going to make for dinner? I don't want that. We have no water or food. Thank God. Rosie, prayers for you. Tell her not to yell. I love you.
I'm gonna ask some kind of tough questions about your relationship with the kids.
My kids are my life. I mean, those smiles light up my life. And there's like, I mean, last night, like during when they usually eat dinner, it was just like, I miss them. Like, I mean, I miss telling them, hey, you got to eat that, or you're not going to get your dessert, and just like, you're not going to get your snack after. I miss that. Like, I miss them, cuddle up on their couches. they have like a Minnie Mouse couch and a Sophia couch that they cuddle up on and watch, you know, Bubble Guppies or something. And it was just like, you know, I was it was tearing me apart last night, and I needed that.
He said, I was cracked. It was tearing me apart. He can't even finish his sentences. Same thing across the board.
That last night, and for nobody to be here last night and to go into their rooms and know that I wasn't going to turn the rain machines on. And I know that I wasn't going to turn their monitor on. No, I wasn't going to kiss them to bed tonight. It was that's why last night was just horrible. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I want everybody to just come home. Like wherever they're at, come home. That's what I want.
Jen Soto says just wants Maddie to come home. She doesn't want her to be harmed. At one point, it sounds like she says, I don't want her home, but she says, I don't want her harmed. And he doesn't particularly have a straight face. He's got that little smirk and smug on his face. And we know now it's a ton of lies. But when we go back on this, we're going to look at Jen Soto, I believe, and say, see, we were correct. Yeah, what an actor. My dupers. I love that. I believe it's Duper's delight as well. Kim Emerson, just blabbering makes no sense. Yeah, we're going to go to the next, some body cam footage where he's completely swaying. He does that in this interview, but I don't know if it's at the beginning or the end. And I don't know how much this Denver's 7 ABC cuts out. He is swaying, though. Look at that.
Where was she gone for? She was on. She came back Sunday, said that to you at night.
Yeah, because her flight got delayed from Arizona because of like other storms around the nation. So she's supposed to get home like 11. She got home at like 1:48. She got in bed about 2.
What was she going for? Like family trip? Or like?
It was a Thrive direct sales. It was a local event that was down there between a bunch of leaders in the company.
All right, now he's starting to sway. Look at his face. He looks, I don't even know what that look is, y'all. He looks like he's trying not to smile. He does not mention his unborn baby. He never says, please bring my wife and daughters home. My wife is expecting me. He doesn't say any of that. He does not say anything. And Rosie, I'm sorry. Somebody said order a pizza. If you could order a pizza, order one and just tell them pizza's coming, y'all. The dogs are barking on the video. That is not at my house. That is not at my house. Teresa, Elijah was not found the other day. I actually brought that to my channel. They suspect it was Elijah Vu. It found by a camp by his house. It was skeletal remains or remains that had a diaper on, but it has not been confirmed. So I do not want to say it was Elijah Vu just yet. Paul, what's going on, everybody? It is better late than ever, but we do love you, Paul, and I hope you're doing well. All right, let's go. Everyone says hi, Paul.
And that night, that day she was back. I mean,
I left work early that morning, like 5:15, 5:30. So like she
smiling.
She barely gotten into bed, pretty much.
Don't sway.
This might be a tough question, but did you guys get into an argument before she left?
It wasn't like an argument. We had an emotional conversation, but I'll leave it at that. But I just want them back. I just want them to come back. And if they're not safe right now, that's what's tearing me apart. Because if they are safe, they're coming back. But if they're not, this has got to stop. Like somebody has to come forward.
You spoken to her family, like her parents?
Yeah, they've been in constant contact, like every hour. I mean, everybody back in North Carolina and the East Coast. I mean, from Maine to Florida.
What is her parents saying to you? Like,
they're just like if they need to get on a flight, just let them know. Because I mean, they feel helpless right now because they're on the opposite side of the country. I mean, Colorado is. I mean, you can't just drive around and look. I mean, it's just like you wouldn't really know what you're looking for. That's what the cops pretty much told me. That first day, I was like, I want to get out and drive around. They said, you wouldn't know what to look for.
That's exactly what Jen Soto wanted, was Maddie to come home safe. Whatever that means, she said safe. Yeah, and then the sway going on, the fidgeting, the arms crossed, the smiles, and the smug look that he has on. I don't know if he was on roids or not, but I know that patch really sped him up. Yeah, Terry Scalzo, the lies. I just want you guys to know that when we go back on the Jen Soto case, seeing the interview again and watching Jen Soto, so many similarities in the mannerisms, and that's what true crime is based on. When people say they study true crime and they study cases, that's what I do. I study cases, and I could bring them to you and say, look at the Ken and Barbie killer. Look at Paul Bernardo and Carla Homolka, how similar to Stefan Stearns and Jen Soto. That's what we can draw from, is our experience. Yeah, victim blaming. She's supposed to be home earlier. Oh, she gets victim blamed up until now. There's whole communities that blame his wife for her own taking of her life because she was this or she was bossy or she was that. It's pretty sad. I don't know why the internet's so slow.
What is law enforcement? What have the police or the sheriffs or your neighbors? What's police saying to you?
Right now, this is what they're doing right now is with the canines in the sense. I think this is the biggest thing. This is the biggest thing they've done so far because yesterday the Frederick Police Department did all the searching of the house and try to gather whatever information they could. And with the detectives, officers, and sergeants, and today it's, I mean, obviously with all the activity that's around, it's there's a lot going on around here, and I really hope that all this can lead to something positive.
What did your neighbors, did they see anything? Did your neighbors see anything?
No, like the police department went door to door asking, like, cameras and everything, just like nothing.
And my last question, if you have any though, feel free to step in. My last question is, if your wife can see this, if she can watch this, what would you like to tell your wife and your kids?
Shanann, Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come
What
back.
about Nico?
If somebody has her, just please bring her back.
What about Nico, y'all? Remember, they had already named the baby Nico. It was his first son. He had 2 daughters, and his wife was pregnant with 1 son. He did not say, Nico, I want my baby home. He didn't want to say that on the news. He didn't want to throw that into Nichol Kessinger's face, in my opinion, that she was pregnant. Yeah, the swaying is for self-soothing. I agree. That's the reason I brought this up, is because the swaying and the Jen Soto swaying. And I have some body cam we're going to watch in a minute. And then I'll let you guys go to whatever else you're doing.
I need to see everybody. I need to see everybody again. This house is not complete without anybody here. Please bring it back.
That's it. I can take that mic off you.
All right, y'all. Let's go to the body cam real quick. I appreciate y'all being here. Today it's a little bit shorter of a day, obviously. I really wanted to do Watts Wednesday and cover this Deception Detective, the first video that we did with Deception Detective. And right now we're going to watch some body cam footage of Chris Watts lying to the police during the house search and watch him sway. All right, let's listen to him lie.
You're lucky.
We know very lucky right now. Sheets and stuff were up in the master bedroom. I know. So like when she got back from the airport last night, usually like she just jumped in the bed. Like most of the time when she does that, she'll want to wash the sheets the next day to get the airport off them since she just came off the airport. Okay. That's the only thing I can think of.
They were still on it.
Oh yeah, she was in bed. Yeah.
So you were in that bed last night?
Yeah. I was up there because the monitor and stuff was up there. I was waiting for her to get back home.
And then she works from home? Is that right?
Yes, direct sales.
Okay.
So she works from phone, anything, the computer.
And then is that the office she uses for work?
Oh, she can do anywhere in here. She can sit on the couch.
Oh, okay. She doesn't have like a designated area.
No.
All right.
She can go anywhere.
And you can't think of anywhere she'd want to go? She go for walks around here?
No, I go for runs. She goes.
You see his lip and the way he keeps swaying, and I mean, we know he's lying now, but it just gives you a good idea. The blink rate is through the roof. He is a monster, granny bass master. Thank you guys for being here with me. Smut Peddlers, good to see you guys. Do me a favor, hit that like button on your way in, on your way out. Subscribe, go to DD's channel, and then share this. Okay? Gives us something a little different to watch while we're digesting all the Soto stuff.
She doesn't really do anything as far as going for walks or anything.
You've talked to all the friends you guys have around the area?
They may.
And what was the conversation this morning you guys had?
It was about selling the house and separation.
And how'd she take that?
We were both pretty emotional. I was both crying.
And then did you see her before you went to work? Did you say anything to her?
When she went back, like when she told me she was going to go to her friend's house and be with the kids, take the kids with her.
Oh, she told you she was taking the kids to her friend's house?
Yeah.
She didn't say who, though?
Oh, no. No, but she was still in bed when that happened.
And this was after the conversation?
Yeah, it was between like 4 and 5 a.m. I woke up about 4 o'clock.
What time did she get home?
1:48.
So did you guys sleep for a little while and then?
Oh yeah, like I was passed out when she got home.
And then did you wake her up?
Yeah, when I got up.
And that's when you discussed the
Yeah,
issue?
I didn't want to do it like over
You did
text
wake
or
her
over
up,
phone
y'all.
call. I wanted to be face to face.
So that would lead me to the conclusion that something happened, everybody. That would definitely lead me to the conclusion that something happened when he talks about having a heated discussion or AKA a fight. So yeah, that gives me pause. All right, let's watch it a little more together and then I'll let you guys off the hook. Copycat, that's what I see, right? I mean, they all people that are that commit crimes and then they have interviews and they lie. They all pretty much, it's just their body language is what we study. Body language and their words, which is deception detective. Not body language, but words. He's a statement analysis.
How long did that conversation last?
I left 30, 45 minutes.
And then you went to work?
Mm-hmm. I left about 5:15, 5:30 in that time frame.
And she said she was going to a friend's house with kids.
But she was still here when I left.
You went to a job site or you went to the main plant or where'd you go?
I went to location first.
Where was that?
By Hudson. Over there, east of Hudson.
And there was someone there at the time when you got there?
No, not. One of the operators, he had an issue there on Friday, about to run over the weekend. I went over there just to kind of verify what kind of issue he was having, see if I could fix it. Then we went to a pumping unit across the.
And you could tell these people are already, the officers are already suspecting him. He was sweating, see Vincent, but the officers were very closed off and already taking a look at him. The neighbors suspected him as well. And they usually have more information than we know at the time. So it's kind of like the Soto case where they looked into it and were cross-referencing what they said. Guilty of crime healing. Yes, yes, we love you.
Across the ranch over there most of the day. That's when I got the phone calls and text messages and so we came home.
Are you guys on like Area 49? Where are you guys at?
Oh, like, you know, where like Rockin' is?
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you for supporting the channel, Smut Peddlers. He is the devil. $2 super chat. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys are awesome. And just like the potato, he's over explaining. And we have a whole deck of cards here that will tell you really what's going down. So thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking it in. Now you know much more than you probably did before, and you will after.
Yeah, out there.
Who's your entry on?
Serby.
Okay. I know where that's at.
So what kind of tools did you have to load up in the garage?
It was just mainly I got my water bottles, my water jug, my computer, book bags. I had my containers full of just my O-rings, all that stuff, just putting it all in there because I took it out a lot.
Do you load it up every day?
I'll just like on the Monday, like after I get all that stuff, because I had an issue where somebody stole all my tools out of my truck. My pipe wrenches are gone. My socket set's gone. What else? My wrench set's gone. Like we had an issue. That's why I parked my truck in front of the neighbor's house for like a few days, just to see if like I could see if anybody was breaking it, tried to break into my truck again. It was my fault. I left it unlocked. So as far as the toolboxes on the back.
So on the weekend you download your stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And then on Monday you load it
back
up?
Just put it all back in. just to kind of get everything out of my truck, clean it out a little bit from the whole week because it gets filthy in there.
How long you guys lived here since 2012 or a different house?
No, like so 2012 we moved here, lived in a friend's basement in Broomfield.
Okay.
And we closed on this house. It was built 2013 in May, and that's when we moved in there.
Okay.
It always makes me wonder too why somebody would go through all of that. If you watch this before, if you watch some of my other videos, Shanann and him had this house built. They had this house built from the ground up. They picked how they wanted the kitchen laid out, etc. And they waited for it to be built. They moved themselves into a family member's house while it was being built. And then they do all this, have 2 kids, one on the way, and he just annihilates his family. He annihilates his family to go with a piece of ass, somebody said earlier, which is the skanky empanada Nichol Kessinger. I do put this video on because I want to lead up to the fact that Nichol Kessinger is being looked at again by some of the statements that he made and the new book that just came out that's pointing at Nichol Kessinger. Again, she's never been charged, so there's no double jeopardy. They can, if they want to, look into her. They could civilly sue her if they want to. The family can if they want to actually go back and say, you know, she was stalking Shanann before. She looked them up. She looked Shanann up all the time, said she didn't know her, and a lot of the other lies. Spending all his money on expensive dates with this side piece, right? $80. A whole $80 on some on a skanky empanada.
Does she have any other friends in this neighborhood?
No, I mean, we haven't talked to many people around here, honestly.
It's mostly in Erie and Broomfield?
Erie, Broomfield, Frederick.
Where at in Frederick, do you know?
So we had, they just lived up here in Frederick Way. They actually just moved down to Thornton, Nick and Amanda Thayer.
Okay.
Nikki, she lives up, the one that was here, she lives in Frederick.
The one that dropped her off?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, she lives over there building that new stoplight, that bridge over there.
Right. Okay.
Yes, Nichol Kessinger's name is Skanky Empanada. And you want to know why, Tiff Knox? Because we've gone over the text messages extensively, and he calls her his little empanada in the text messages. So it didn't come from me. It came from Watts, the Obsession, that analyzes the crap out of this case. And that's her name on there. Nobody calls her Nichol Kessinger. They call her the Skanky Empanada. That name was given to her by herself and Chris Watts. Yeah, he's vagina-tized. So we forgot Chris Watts is vagina-tized by Nichol Kessinger. Yeah, we haven't done this in a while. We haven't done the Watts case. That's why the cops let you talk and talk and talk. Hopefully incriminating yourself. It's tactical. That's what they're doing with Soto, y'all. That's what they're doing. Skanky empanadas and potatoes. I don't know why we refer to food as these demon ladies, but yeah, we love Watts' Obsession. I love her. She's amazing. She's just a cool chick.
And you have no idea what friend? So all your friends pretty much have kids the same age? Mm-hmm. So it's hard to...
It's really hard. I mean, I've exhausted every option I know of as far as friends goes. Like, Nikki knew more of them because she's a woman. Yes. And that's about as far as we could go, as far as all the friends that we could think of.
All right. So if you talk to some of her friends, tell them that we're looking for her, and we just need to make sure that she's okay. And she can call us. She doesn't have to call you. That if that's what she's worried about.
You know, you're trying to get a hold of her and she won't talk to you. So have them refer her to us if they know where she's at.
Okay. Just so whatever's going on between you guys, that's between you guys. And she doesn't want to talk to you, that's fine. We just don't want to waste resources looking for her if she's actually okay. So like, if you can relay to the friends, hey, I understand she doesn't want to talk to us, at least have her call the police so that they know she's okay.
Okay.
Type deal, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That way that.
Again, watch how he looks. Look at his face. Not just the sway, but he looks scared for himself, not scared for his family. And Miss Odin, I appreciate that. Jay, you bring it every time. I do appreciate you. Look at how scared he looks. That look in his face. Doesn't look like he's missing or scared about his daughters. It looks like he's scared to get caught. And I wish the coward would have just left. It's just, man, I just don't get it. Thanks. Thank you, Jennifer. I wish I could hang out with y'all in person. That'd be awesome.
We know that she's okay, and whatever's going on between you guys can kind of figure that out.
Okay.
Type deal. Do you have any questions for us before we get out of here?
Call area hospitals, call hotels.
Someone said she was diabetic.
She had her friend Cassie in Arizona. She's a nurse, and she knows she had low blood sugar when she was down there. That's why I brought that up.
Oh, okay.
She never had seizures or blacked out or anything.
It was just like that was a long time ago before I even met her. She had a horrific car accident. I think she might have blacked out or had a seizure. They just couldn't really figure it out. Like she just had a car accident. She just flew out of the car.
And you have his contact info?
Yeah. I think the detective did.
Yeah, they've got all.
Okay. And if you hear, did you get a card or anything?
For the detective, yeah.
Okay. So there's a dispatch number on there.
Okay.
If you hear anything from her, call that number and let us know. And it'll just go straight to our dispatch, and then an officer will call you right back.
Okay.
That way, our main concern is to make sure.
Look at that sway, man. The Chris Watts sway. He brought that before. A lot of people. Paul says, "Oh my God, sweetie, you're stereotyping all men." No, we would never stereotype. Sorry, I'm too lazy to check Goodreads right now. That's okay. Be lazy. Wednesday.
She's okay and the kids are okay. So if you hear a peep from her, just call us and we'll call you or leave us a contact number to reach her so we can talk to her.
Okay.
What's your date of birth?
5/16/85.
What's that?
5/16/85.
85?
Yep.
What's the phone number for you?
Australia, Sonia Finnegan, what's up? Good to see you. You're part of the crime crew.
Do you want my card or anything?
I'll take it.
Okay. And I'll just underline that number.
That dog.
Just call that number. Someone will answer that phone 24/7.
Okay.
So,
sweet.
And then just leave your contact info and an officer will call you right back. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're not going to hear the dog anymore. I'm going to, what's an hour and 20 minutes? I think I'm going to cut out a little bit early tonight. I usually do an hour and a half or 2 minutes or 2 hours, not 2 minutes. Jennifer White, thank you so much for the $4.99 super sticker. And Sonia Finnegan, I appreciate your best channel ever. And you're from Australia, so keep rocking it all the way from Australia. Jennifer White, I'm going to say it's a super sticker that's a avocado, right? All right, so thank you. The classic one, you've brought some really good comments tonight. Self-stimulation with the Swain, very uncomfortable that he's feeling. A lot of people like that are getting interrogated when they have done something wrong in the case. So, all right, on that note, you guys, I love you. It's Chill Wednesday today. Yes, Chill Watts Wednesday, although it's a family annihilator. I want to say good night to everybody. I love you. Please do me a favor and come back tomorrow. And we're going to cover some more Madeline Soto stuff today. Just needed to be chill and take a look at how to interrogate a psychopath 111 for the Watts family that was taken way too soon. For Maddie, Ross Dog, Smash That Like, C. Vincent, Lynette, Scary Sherry, Wednesday, MM Clark, Sid Serber, and all the mods. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Wolfpack. Thank you. Classic One. Thank you. I appreciate you. I always try to make it good for you guys and engage with you. I really do like engaging with the crime crew. You guys are just right on top of it. And Paul says, I'm not vagina-tized, sweetie. I'm vagina-friendly. Love you all. New York baby boomer and sunshine. Good night, y'all. I love you. I'm going to go hang out with my daughter right now and take her to 7-Eleven. She's got an agenda for me. Good night.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?